the position of Sonoco that all personal injuries will be prevented. All Henderson employees will set as their primary goal a personal responsibility to eliminate injuries from the workplace. To meet this objective, we will build our safety process upon two critical areas: energy isolation and employee involvement. All employees are expected to follow safe procedures and take an active part in protecting themselves, their fellow workers, and the plant. This includes detecting and reporting hazardous conditions, practices, and behaviors, as well as making suggestions for their correction. It is essential that everyone follow all safety rules, take no unnecessary risks, use all safeguards and safety equipment provided, and make safety a part of their job.
Had a few friends that lost some fingers, not hands. And as time went on, Sonoco started getting into safety, and we started using ram blocks, and we've used different, had different procedures. But now it's, if you get hurt out there, it's pretty much your fault. We have a set of rules to go by, and if you follow them, you don't have to worry. You're going to be go home with all your fingers and toes.
When I first started, there was no such thing as locking things out or ram blocks or anything. If you had a jam, you just cleared it. You never had, no kind of safety really. And then just over the years, they started using the blocks and started lockouts. I guess really that was the best thing they ever did.
With our commitment to safety here at the Henderson plant, one of the main priorities is energy isolation.
I mostly train, and when I'm training a person, that is the only thing I watch is their safety, and watch where they're moving their hands. And I like that part. I really like working with people on something, that I know, and I know my press good.
We talk about safety, which is our first priority. We discuss that on a weekly basis. We have an open floor discussion if anything is going on that someone wants to bring up that's on their mind. It's pretty much informal, lasts maybe 15, no more than 30 minutes, and we talk about just current events that are going on inside the plant. That's pretty much what we do.
Well, last year, our number one safety issue was gloves, and people wouldn't wear their gloves because they couldn't get to them or they wasn't convenient. So we went around and put clips on the presses so that the gloves would be hanging in certain places where they'd be convenient for the operators, and we did a study on the sizes and got certain sizes of gloves for everybody to wear.
We meet once a month and we review incidents that happened in the division at different plants and review what happened, how they happened, corrective actions that were taken, ways to prevent them from happening again, and make sure that they definitely don't happen at our plant.
I took it day by day, and I didn't take safety seriously as I did until I came here. So it affected me a whole lot because I use it outside the plant.
Well, here you have, when you're working on something, you have to lock it out. And before, where I worked at, they didn't particularly watch over you, see if you locked anything out.
It's nice to know that, you know, you can come in here and you're not going to get hurt. Well, you shouldn't get hurt, let me put it that way.
You have to have gloves on just to move a pallet, so wood, splinters, like that, helps out a whole lot.
Well, they've got a team that goes around and they'll go in and clean the whole area up, and they'll get everything organized for the best way that it's easier for the operator and the safest way.
The safety program has improved a whole lot since in the 16 years I've been here. Safety wasn't as big an issue when I started as it is now, and it's 16 years we've progressed to being hardly any safety to safety conscious every minute, every hour, every day.
Right.
And so,
That's quite an accomplishment, 1.5 million man hours, isn't it?
yeah, we're proud of it.
Here at our plant, we've reached 1.5 million hours injury-free, and we're all very conscious. We have a very good safety program here, and we care about each other. We watch out for each other. If we think we're not following the rules or being safe, we discuss it with each other. Things don't ever become an incident and have to go any farther than that, because nobody wants to go home hurt.
Like mowing my grass, I used to not wear safety glasses, but I do now.
We have newsletters that come out every month to our homes too, and they'll talk about safety, different things on safety. So I'll catch my husband doing something, out there, and I say, "No, don't do it that way," or something like that.
It's all right. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's all right. Celebrate.
We'll get the lights on here in a second. But wow, all these folks heading to Hollywood next week. Great job, guys. Wanted to take a couple of minutes real quick to welcome everyone, and we'll get the lights will start coming on here in a second, to what is a very good day in Henderson. A very good day for the Henderson team, and we want to acknowledge that today and celebrate it as the video shows. I think the video also clearly shows that we are set on two primary factors, energy isolation and employee involvement, and everyone here has such a passion for that, and that's why we're sitting here today. We appreciate a lot of our guests that are here joining us. This is a special time, so we thank you for taking out of your schedule to be here with us. What I'd like to do, and we're going to hear several comments from some of our guests, but I would like to go ahead and recognize those that are here. And I'd like to start with some of the Sonoco folks that have come in from Hartsville and from some of the other places and recognize. And if you would, when I recognize you or call your name out, would you please stand? We've got a lot of folks that are new and would like to see you. And all of us, if we could hold applause till we go through the list and everyone could continue standing, that'd be great. From Sonoco, we're very privileged and honored to have Harris DeLoach here today, our president and CEO. We also, yeah, that one, we can wait on that. We don't have to wait on that one. Okay. maybe the other ones. We also have Charles Sullivan, who is our senior vice president over global consumer packaging. Back there in the back, Charles, thank you. We have Roger Fuller, who many of you know, division vice president of CP North America as well. Leon Liddick, who's the director of manufacturing for the United States and Canada. Good to see you, Leon. Alan Hutchins, who's the Henderson Plant Area Manufacturing Manager. Thank you, Alan. We have the corporate safety director, Mike Sunderland, is here with us. Mike, there he is right there, Mike. And Dick Grindle, who is the division safety manager as well, here with us. Okay. A little bit later, I've got a letter from Larry Gant that he would like me to read, and he sure wanted to be here today, but I'm going to read that a little bit later. I also would like to recognize we've got a few Sonoco employees that have traveled in, that have been part of the plant really in the past 500,000 hours. And if you guys could all stand, Lauren and Will and Melody, I believe you guys here. It's good to see you guys back. Welcome home. Welcome back. And very special guest, we have some Henderson retirees with us today that we'd like to recognize. If you guys would stand and maybe across some recent ones. Joanne down here, okay. Appreciate it. I'd like to also recognize some safety partners, and I'll speak about that a little bit later, and I think we'll hear from some of them, but we feel like a big part of our process is to continue to improve. If we remain as good as we are today, tomorrow, we won't be celebrating much. We need to keep getting better, and that means upon where we are today. And it takes safety partnerships. It takes various activities. And one of those activities is benchmarking with other corporations and companies. We're honored to have from Meade Johnson, Mike McGarrah, who's a senior supply manager globally, and Kathy Cull here is from the safety specialist in Meade Johnson, Evansville. Thank you, Kathy. From Tyson Foods, we have Chuck Franklin, who is the East Region HR and Safety Manager. And Steve Harris, who is the local plant safety and HR manager. And we'll hear from those guys later. And finally, and I'd like to recognize, we're also very honored to have some local city officials. We work very closely with the community. We feel like it's very important. We've had some tremendous help from our Economic Development Council and others in this community, and I'd like to recognize those individuals. And I'd like to recognize our mayor, Honorable Joan Hoffman, is here with us. Thank you. We also have the Henderson County Judge Executive, Sandy Watkins, has joined us today. State Representative Gross Lindsay has joined us. Thank you. And from the Henderson County Economic Development Council, we have Jimmy Jones, who's the Executive Director. And Donna Crooks, who works with us very closely as well. Thank you, Donna. So again, welcome. I don't want to take up a lot of time. I know most of you hear me enough already. So we're going to move on, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to start a few comments by asking Alan to come up front.
I promised David I'd say a few words. Now, as you guys know, we introduced in one direction, but I'm the first one up here. So as far as the Sonoco people go, we're starting off at the very tip bottom of the totem pole, working our way up, as you will see when we get to Harris. But now I just wanted to congratulate the plant on 1.5 million man-hours injury-free. I mean, that is just absolutely spectacular. Who can tell me how many years that is? How many years equates to the 1.5 million? 8. 8 years and a few months. That's just absolutely outstanding. And I can tell you right now, that didn't happen without a lot of hard work, a lot of effort from everybody in this room. You guys are the ones that made it happen. And I think you ought to give yourselves a big hand. Let me just say a couple other comments. You know, I've only been area manager for Henderson here for 3 or 4 months, so I'm just now getting to know you, and I appreciate you inviting me to the celebration today. But I've known Henderson for a long time. I've been with the company 16 years, always in CPD. And as some of the old-timers may know, back then we called it Can Division. Well, it didn't take long after joining the Can Division. I was up in Naperville, Illinois. After the first 3 or 4 weeks, you automatically knew that the Henderson plant was the plant in the division. It was our flagship. You know, you heard that way back then. It didn't matter what it was. If we're talking about quality, the Henderson plant is the flagship. You know, if we're talking about customer satisfaction, the Henderson plant is the flagship. You know, if we're talking about productivity, the Henderson plant is the flagship. Well, I think you've shown today that not only in those other areas, but you've shown that in safety, again, the Henderson plant is the flagship, and you are to be commended for doing a great job in that area. I ask you to keep up the hard work, keep up the effort. I know it's not easy. I'm actually bringing in a team next week of actually 4 of our other area managers. I'm going to bring in here. We're going to do an audit. We just want to see, we want to benchmark against this plant. You know, what are you guys doing right that we can take to some of our other plants and maybe help them improve their safety program? You know, and so hopefully, I have no doubt when we come in here next week for a couple of days, we'll take home a lot of good ideas. Don't want to take up a lot of time. Again, thanks for everything you're doing. Keep up the hard work, keep up the effort, and I look forward to our 2 million man-hour celebration. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to invite Dick Grindle, our Division Safety Coordinator, to come up and say a few words.
Couple of things. David asked me if I want to say a few words, which kind of surprised me. David's known me for a few years and asked me if I want to say a few words is rhetorical. The other thing, I want to thank Alan, because if you heard the order of introductions, the bottom's just been redefined. Thank you very much, Alan. I'm beside myself with this distinction. Safety is what I do. I have done safety with my whole career with Sonoco. And that's why I always take an advantage when I have a captive audience to say thank you. And of course, at 1.5 million hours, that's a very significant thank you. And participate in that recognition of the very, very significant milestone in the area of injury-free performance. In a manufacturing environment, it is no small accomplishment in the day-to-day exposures you have, the problems you have at home that creates distraction, and to be able to come to work, each of you, day in and day out, and manage all those distractions successfully is very significant, and I would have hitchhiked to get here myself. Safety is people. Sometimes we get too tied up in these numbers, but I just ask you to remember, safety is people. Safety is actively caring people. You obviously are actively caring people, because we cannot do it individually. We need the help of each other various times during the work year to assist us and remind us of those things we need to do. And again, you've done that extremely, extremely well. The other thing I'm glad to see you do, safety is serious, but you have fun. I think it's important to have fun. and you can have fun with safety. So I encourage you to continue to have fun, continue to be better tomorrow than you were today, and I wish you very, very much many more months and years of continued injury-free performance. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Leon.
Thank you, Dick. Good afternoon, everybody. It's also my privilege to stand before you and congratulate you on just an outstanding, wonderful, magnificent accomplishment. To go 8+ years, 8¼ years, and I think a day, is an amazing feat. If you go back years ago and you saw some of this on the videotape that we showed, how inherently dangerous a metal press operation is. And for you to work 8+ years, 1.5 million hours, injury-free, is a testimony to the culture of caring that you have at the Henderson, Kentucky facility. So I want to recognize that. Thank you for everything that you're doing. There's a lot of wonderful things that we're benchmarking, and Alan mentioned that we've got a team coming in next week to learn some of the things that you're doing so that we can take that to other parts of the company. And it really is difficult to stand up here after the 4th or 5th speaker and try not to replicate or duplicate a lot of things that have already been said. So Harris is going to have a real challenge being the last speaker of the occasion of the day. But thanks for everything that you're doing. Really do appreciate it. And it's nice to see so many caring, wonderful people and what you've been able to accomplish and achieve. Thank you. I think next Roger Fuller will be coming up, and Roger is the Vice President of our consumer packaging business for North America.
Well, it's great to see everybody. Someone actually told me you spent 5 or 10 minutes cleaning up this morning. Is that right? Yeah. No, the plant looks outstanding. It looks outstanding. You know, Leon and I were here, I guess 6 or 7 months ago, and just the improvements that you continually make in Henderson is wonderful. You guys do a great job. I'm not going to repeat everything that's been said. The only thing I would add is, you know, it's great to have this celebration. We really appreciate customers coming in to join us. I think that shows the true partnerships that we have, not only the caring of the internal people, but the partnerships we have on the outside. And Henderson is successful today because of many, many, many years of outstanding work. You've got the table of retirees here that really set the standard for how we do business here many years ago at the old Bob Posey plant. And it's continued, and as Alan said very well, it's not just in safety, it's in everything you do. And it's all about the team here. So thank you very much. It's great to see everybody. It's almost like a homecoming again. Keep up the good work. I mean, the worst thing we can do is relax now, move on to 2 million hours and beyond, take it one day at a time. Keep up the fantastic job. It's good to see you. I think next is going to be Charles Sullivan, who is the Global Vice President of CPD. Thank you.
This is how we earn our food. We make speeches after you eat, so you can boo us down anytime you want to. This is my 4th Sonoco plant this week, and also we went to 2 customer plants this week, one Mead Johnson plant in Mexico and a Gamesa plant in Monterrey, Mexico, where 3,500 people work, and I think all of us have the same culture. We look at the safety board when we go inside the plant. Everybody seems to have one. Some people actually keep them up to date. And Gamesa had worked 17 days since their last reportable. So don't take for granted that everybody knows how to do what you know how to do and get the results that you get. The thing that encourages me most about what you've accomplished here is that you have taken ownership your own performance and of the other team members' performance. So you take care of yourself, you take care of each other, which is really the key to how we win. And everybody likes to be around a winner. So we all are having a great day here today, and you should give yourselves a big hand for the accomplishment. You don't have 3,500 people working here, but working over 8 years. If you look at the math part of it, you've accomplished a lot more than a lot of people have. The odds are really that something will happen. So be diligent, keep your eyes open, watch where you're going, and you'll continue to work safely and take care of one another, which is the most important part of it for me. So I'd like to introduce Harris, who's now really going to give you the speech that we all came to deliver.
Charles, thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here with you today. I asked David, I said, David, how long do you want me to talk? And he said, well, as long as you want to talk. And I said, well, you know, we sort of on a tight schedule. When we landed at the airport, the manager of the airport came out to the plane and said, what time are you leaving? And we said, you know, around 3 o'clock. And he said, well, you have to be out of here by 3 o'clock because the airport's closing down. And I said, okay, did David close the airport down so we would leave? And he said, no, actually, the FAA is closing the airport down because we needed to repaint the runway, but all the yellow and white paint has been bought up in town. And so when I got here today, I looked around and I saw where all the yellow and white paint is gone. But I know you've gone to a lot of effort to spruce the plant up a little bit, and I really appreciate that. But the truth of the matter is, you just don't spruce the plant up in a couple of days, and this plant, I suspect, stays like this most of the time. And we were talking at the table, and I won't be very long, David. We were talking at the table about housekeeping. And I can sit in my office in Hartsville, South Carolina, and I can tell from looking at the safety record of a plant about the housekeeping of the plant. Because generally when I see a safe plant, it's a plant that has good housekeeping. When I see a plant that has good safety and has good housekeeping, it's generally a profitable plant. And it's not a coincidence, they all go hand in hand. And it's about people caring and people working together and people doing the right thing. At Sonoco, as you know, safety truly is our number one passion. And Sonoco really is world-class when compared to other companies with our safety program. We are world-class with our TRR rate against industrial companies around the globe. But it's not about a TRIR rate to me. Safety is not about a TRR rate. Safety is about not having to attend the funeral of an employee who failed to lock out and tag out electrical equipment. Safety is about not visiting an employee in the hospital who's lost a limb because they didn't lock out equipment. It's about safe working, and it's about injuries. And as long as we have injuries, it's going to make me where I can't sleep at night. So it will remain the first priority at Sonoco. It is and shall remain that. And I appreciate so much what you are doing, what you have been doing. And not only do I want to congratulate you for that, I want to thank you for that. And this, you know, is not about TR, and this is not about Sonoco safety. This is about your day of celebration. And you are one of the best of the best. And you're in a division that clearly is one of the best of the best. And it's come about because of leadership, leadership in this plant, leadership in the division, and about your commitment to work together to have a safe working environment. And I appreciate that so much. I'm delighted to be here with you. And I'm pleased to be able to present to you an award for that. David, you and your safety committee, would you please come forward?
Safety committee. Anybody on the safety committee or the safety coordinators, please come up here. Airport's closing, guys.
Isn't this outstanding?
Come on up.
thank you very much for a job well done, 1,500,000 man-hours of safe work. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Good job, guys.
Great job. And I look forward to visiting with you at your next milestone. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Harris. Appreciate it. Thanks to the coordinators. Do have, as I mentioned earlier, I've got a letter here. Larry Gann had called this morning, and he is very regretful that he could not make it this morning. He tried everything to be here, and in fact, even earlier this year, when we felt like we were moving toward that milestone, he was already trying to mark a calendar and be here with you. And he sent me an email that he asked me to read, and again, to try to pass on just how much he'd like to be here. And he is planning on coming in the near future to celebrate a little bit later. But he did want me to say to the Henderson people, I offer my proudest congratulations for achieving a record that's truly a cultural benchmark within Sonoco. To achieve 1.5 million man-hours without an OSHA recordable is just another validation of the people in the Henderson plant. At the end of the day, nothing demonstrates teamwork and people values more than outstanding safety performance. The Henderson people continue to raise the bar in safety performance and teamwork, period. I use the word proud to describe my congratulations because I always stick my chest out when hearing of Henderson's accomplishments. I want all of you to know, particularly those that go back to 1967, when we started the Henderson plant, how honored I am to have been associated with your plant. I will always have a special place in my memory bank for Henderson and its people. I wish I were with you today, but I salute you and challenge each of you to continue your work in achieving breakthrough performance. Thanks for what you're doing, and again, congratulations. That's from Larry. I also, this will help transition into a few of the safety partnerships that we're going to have a few comments on. I also had a phone call this morning from Sean Donnelly, who many of you know had worked with the plant over the past few years and is also in the flexible division now. Through Sean, we've also been partnered up with Edinburgh, Indiana, the flexible plant in Edinburgh. And it's through that teamwork and that safety benchmarking that we've both been able to achieve some milestones. Again, I mentioned safety partnerships, benchmarks. We have got to get better. We have got to look to improve internally. We've got to look at what's external that we can see from those eyes that come in and show us recommendations and suggestions. We started work with Edinburgh. You started working with Edinburgh almost a year ago. The Edinburgh plant has now, their last recordable injury was August 11th of this past year, and I believe it's the first time they've ever achieved these hours. They are now at 275,000 injury-free hours. So that's outstanding as well. Again, it's a good example of what they see when they come in and they observe everyone working safely, following procedures. We can sit in a meeting all day and talk about the programs and the processes we have, but when they take a tour and they observe that you're actually following through with what we say we do, that's when it hits home. So we appreciate that, and they appreciate that. Also, we've had just a wonderful opportunity to work with two other corporations. One, in Meade Johnson, happens to be a good customer of ours, and we appreciate this more from a safety aspect than actually the customer partnership because of what it means to us and them. And for that, I'm going to ask Mike McGarr or Kathy McConnell to say a few words. If Mike would come up. Great.
David, thanks for inviting us, and to all the people of Sonoco, we really appreciate the invitation to come and to share time with you on your day. Where we were a few years ago, we didn't have a safety record that we were really proud of. We really felt the need, not only the desire, but the need to do something to improve our safety program, to improve our safety performance. And one of the things that we felt we needed to do was to find an example, find a standard, find a mentor, find a benchmark, find best in class. And Sonoco came out on top. You folks have been and are, as someone already mentioned, you're world class. You're world class in safety. We called David and asked if we could bring a group of people over. I had not met David yet. Lauren was here, a few others. And so in November of 1999, Kathy McConnell and I and some other people came over from the Evansville plant. And we sat down, and from the very get-go, it wasn't that you were willing to share with us what you could. You were willing to share with us what you had. Your programs, your procedures, your philosophy, but more important, your attitude. And we've been back 3 or 4 times, and in a minute I'm going to ask Kathy to come up here because we'd like to share with you what impact you've had on the lives of the Meade Johnson people. But throughout this process, we feel we've really benefited. And some things that really stand out. Number one, safety has to come from the top down. We know that, and you folks know that. But the people in this room are the secret ingredient. They're the key. They're the people that get it done. They're the people that have to live with it. They're the people that accept zero tolerance. It's not an easy thing, but it is a lifestyle thing. And the other thing, when you stop and think, 1.5 million man-hours, that's great. But when you stop and think, that's 8.5 years. That span of time is truly remarkable. And I've not seen anything like it myself. By coincidence, we were here last time at your last milestone. Today we were invited, and quite honestly, we're planning to be here, 2 million man-hours. So, Kathy, if you'd come up, as we said, you folks have had an impact not only from a supplier, but also you've had a major impact on the lives of our employees. So I'd like Kathy to kind of give you some feedback and tell you what we've accomplished since we started working with you folks on safety.
I have to move it down since I'm so short. But just, I'm here to say personally to each one of you, thank you so much for what you've done for us. Just to give you an idea, in 1996, and I'm just talking about the Evansville Supply Center, the Meade Johnson plant, we injured 44 people. And 15 of those people were injured seriously enough not to come back the next day. They spent some time off from work. And so we needed to do something better for our employees. And as Mike said, we look to you, you're the gold standard for us. So we came over and we sat down with David and Lauren, and you know, you just opened your books. I made a Christmas wish list and I sent it to Lauren on email, and I said, these are the things that I need. It was about this long. And he came up with all of those things. And then we also came back and we talked with Will, and he gave me a few more things. But to give you a general idea, we looked at your 15 cardinal rules. We went back and we looked at what our SOPs were. Did we need to tweak them a little bit? Which we did. We also looked at your energy isolation presentation. We did some training. We tweaked that, made it more applicable to Meade Johnson, and we trained all our people on that as well. And then we did a few more things, and as I've walked around today, I've seen a few more things I want to take back, David, like your safe work practices board with the gloves. And because one of our problems had been, we had injured employees, they had lacerations and it was to hands. And so we came up with a glove policy, but I like what you've done, so we're going to implement that. But what that has meant to us is that since '96, we've been able to reduce our accidents by 96% from the things that we've gleaned from you. So I want to personally say thank you. That's made a huge impact on the Meade Johnson people. They're able to go home at night with all their fingers and toes. And not to say that anybody went home without any, but people are going home not injured at the end of the day. And we're not quite where we want to be. We want to be like you guys. We want no injuries. So we're getting ready to start a behavior-based safety program where we have actively caring people, and they're talking with each other about safety. They're doing observations, you know, looking at each other, how they're doing their job, and giving them feedback. How can you improve and be a little bit more safe? So we're looking forward to joining the ranks like you guys, have 0 injuries. So I want to say again, personally, you guys have done a great job, and I can't be more proud of you than the people from Sonoco. And I hope to continue the partnership with you. Thanks.
We did have a little bit of a surprise, and again, we feel like It's these partnerships that make us better, so we appreciate you coming. Kathy didn't mention it, but on April 11th, from what I've seen and read, the Evansville Supply Center achieved for the first time in any Meade Johnson production facility 1 year injury-free. And that's outstanding. So our recognition to you. Thanks. Thanks, Kathy. Outstanding. That's great.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you also.
Internally, flexibles within our customer and supplier base with Meade Johnson as a customer, but also in our community. We felt like, again, it's very important that many of the times we go home, our neighbors, our friends, our family members are actively employed in this community. And there's also a lot we can gain by improving and helping improve the safety from others in this area and help us get better in the long run. From that, we developed a working relationship with Tyson. And I'm going to ask Chuck Franklin, Steve, say a few words if Chuck's going to come up from Tyson.
First off, just like Meade, we were looking for somebody that we could sort of benchmark off and get started. Of course, we had 2 fatal accidents in 1998 that kind of got everybody on the ball saying, hey, we've got to do something, we've got to do something different, and we've got to make it right so that our people go home safe. And just happened to live next door to somebody that worked with Sonoco, and also I knew David from church and was able to take that and see what you guys have done and be able to take it back and try to make something out of it and mold it into what we could use. We didn't have a safety manager. Steve came aboard as our human resources and safety manager, which one of our larger facilities didn't have anybody, so we brought him aboard, and he's been a real serious-minded person to be able to take everything and just work it to where it works with our system there. I just came here in last year in 2000 and was able to, I have 6 plants in my region, and this is one of the plants we decided we were just going to start with, try to benchmark something to move forward with in all of our other facilities. And you guys just really set the standard for us. We were able to bring all of our people in, again, talk with everybody, find out what you're doing, what the difference is, and more than anything, we saw 2 things, and that was, number one, you had support from the top all the way down, and the people out there on the floor were making the difference, and you care about each other, and it's a value and not just a priority, and that makes the biggest difference. And for us, we were able to benchmark this and take this back to our vice president and our president and say, hey, it's been done, we can do it. Let's take it forward and let's just take steps. And of course, we've been working with Sonoco now for about a year, since last summer. So we're going on a year, and I'm going to let Steve kind of share with you some things, but I just want to tell you guys, thank you. You've set the standard, and you've allowed us to be able to go back and make a difference with Tyson. Of course, we represent a small part of Tyson. We're a small division, but with this, we should be able to take this throughout the whole company. But we're starting with Roberts, Kentucky, and hopefully we'll continue to work with you guys and make things, and be able to come back and tell you the accomplishments that we've been able to make. But guys, thank you. You've done a wonderful job, and keep up the good work. And 2 million, that's keep on setting those goals and keep on working towards them. I'm going to let Steve say a few words.
I'm very honored today to be invited to come up and give a little presentation to you, to a bunch of champions, because that's what you are. I want to personally congratulate you on your 1.5 million injury-free man hours. That's a great accomplishment. It takes that teamwork. It takes that ability to concentrate on your job and looking after your fellow co-workers to really make this mark, and you've done it. When we first made our visit here with you guys several months back, we seen that. Well, we seen the like I say, the cleanliness of your plant, the way you work. the organizational structures here within the safety part, and it's really impressive and it shows. We came in and David graciously showed us and gave us information, and we took that and we took it back to the plant and started implementing things and taking parts and putting our little critiques to it and adding in the things that we needed, and I'm happy to say that it's working. We've had a 15 to 20% reduction in accidents. Also, here 3 weeks ago, we just had our first tag audit, which is a corporate tag audit where corporate comes down and they make safety inspections of the whole facility, and we made a 98.02, which is the highest of any plant in our division and company. So, thank you. So really, that's part you're doing is also, because when we went back, we said, hey, listen, we don't want to hear any more about you can't do it, because there's a company here in Henderson, Sonoco, that they haven't had an accident in a number of years. And it can be done, and we're going to do it. So I want to thank you and keep up the good work.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to ask Jimmy Jones, Henderson Economic Development Council, Executive Director.
Bruce Clay Lindsay said I had 30 minutes and no more. Well, I won't take near that amount of time, but I appreciate David inviting me to come and be with you today. It's the first time I'd ever walked through this plant, and I was amazed at the cleanliness, but more than that, how we had to get suited up before we could even set our face inside here. You know, somebody said they were going to take a picture of me. I said, please don't. I'll pay you money. Don't take my picture with all this garb on. But it's very impressive. I've taken a number of plant tours in my lifetime, but I would have to say this is probably the most impressive that I've ever had. Our tour guide was impressive. He knew this place up one side and down the other. And everyone that we stopped and talked to talked about the safety and the concern and how you care for one another. And that's great. That's great. Not many plants can say that. A lot of plants, Sonoco as well, I'm sure, talk about sales and profitability, production levels, reducing operating costs, return on the investment, earnings per share, and all those things are very important. If you don't achieve those, you don't stay in business. But not many people, not many companies can lay claim to safety record like Sonoco has said here today. And so you guys are, as far as I'm concerned, a star in the crown in Henderson, Kentucky. And I hope that other plants in our community will look to you as an example. And we'll be knocking your door down to try to, David, you and your staff may not have time to produce because you're going to go into the safety business. But you've done a great job. And I know you're proud, as you should be, and Henderson's proud of you. And Henderson's proud of you not only for your safety record, which is, gosh, I don't know how you can beat that, but your company's been here since, I think, 1967. Sonoco has been committed to Henderson. Been in this building, I think, since 91. Employ 100 people. Good jobs for the citizens of our community. I think that speaks well not only of both the production workers, the people that actually make the product, the management of the local company, and I think it speaks well of corporate's confidence in the Henderson plant. And you've proven that, or they wouldn't have that confidence in you. Harris, I'll have to put in a plug. I hope you'll see an opportunity to do more business here in Henderson, maybe build a 600,000 square foot plant. But again, we're proud for you. We're proud of you. And again, you set the standard for the industrial base in Henderson. And we wish you every good success in production, sales, and especially in safety. Continue to set that record, David. Thank you.
All right, thanks to everyone for the comments. We, at this point, I'm going to ask the safety coordinators if they would go over to the team room there. We've got a few commemorative items that we wanted to hand out, and they're going to be part of that. I'm going to recognize in a second. Also on your table, we've left a commemorative item for you to take. The main thing there is not only to think about today, and this is again a great day for Henderson, a great day for all 100 of us sitting in here that work day in and day out here, but it also should serve as a commitment, a reminder every time you look at it that we need to get better, we need to keep working safe, why we work safe, and so I'd appreciate if you would do that from the mayor's office or from Tyson and Meade or from any of our homes. If we get a chance to look at this, it remind us of why we're committed to safety. So I appreciate that. And as these guys hand these things out, I will ask, I guess, if they would pause 1 second. 1 second. Thank you, Kenny. And I would ask Judge Watkins and Mayor Hoffman if you would come back up here, and Mr. DeLoach. We have a special presentation.
David, I will only come if you refer to me as Harris.
A tradition in Kentucky goes all the way back to right after the War of 1812. We didn't have enough money to pay our soldiers, so we commissioned them to be Kentucky colonels. And on behalf of Governor Paul Patton, we would like to present you this Kentucky colonel. All rights and privileges reserved. You'll get invited, and they'll ask you to send money, but it's no, but it is a great honor, and we appreciate you and your people being here. Sonoco, and I will take the opportunity. The mayor's sitting there going, I'm holding this thing, Sandy. Sonoco products and David and the people that I've had the fortunate opportunity to work with, they're about people, and that's what this business is all about. Safety records are wonderful. I celebrated 1 million man-hours with an aluminum company. I worked there 18 years on rotating shifts. We were so proud of that. 2 days later, we had an employee get hurt. So I just want all of you to realize that you've made a great goal here, but it's out there every day, and there's a lot of things that can get you hurt. So please, don't back away. Keep setting your standards high. Keep moving forward, because you're what it's all about. It's about people. I look across this room. I see basketball coaches. I see 4-H volunteers. I see people that I see every week in our community. So Sonoco's not just about doing a job here. It's about being a part of this community, and I appreciate all of you, and I'm very proud of you, and congratulations on the 1,500,000 hours. Do we have one more award? Great.
Thank you so
Harris, pleasure. And also, we want to recognize David as a Kentucky colonel on behalf of the governor. Yeah, now you got to call him Colonel. You realize that? So when you page him, just page him Colonel. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. That's very nice.
Very nice. Mary.
I was going to let the judge speak for me, but I decided I had to have a little bit of a word. I, too, saw the cleanliness, the safety, which we're celebrating today, but also the tremendous teamwork that goes on in this building. You see it in the video. It's so obvious in the video. I saw it as I took the tour and talked to different ones of you, and I felt it at this table over here eating lunch, and I know that's what drives the cleanliness, the safety, and the productivity of this plant. I want to thank you for that. You're a role model for us all.
Wow, how about that? Thank you very much. That's not Colonel Sanders now, Charlie. Don't. As we wrap up, again, in the commemorative items, we do have maybe one that needs explaining. One of the things that we've started doing in the last couple of years is the distribution of $2 bills when we hit milestones. And what we try to do is we try to make that a symbol of not only the Take Two initiative, but the initiative that energy isolation and employee involvement are really our two elements to staying injury-free. And so that's just a commemorative item today as well. Again, there's a lot of thanks and recognition to go around. You guys should really know it took everyone's involvement these past 3 weeks. That's a short time to put something together like this. And it took everyone running the equipment, cleaning up. It also took a lot of special work and a lot of special hours from our safety coordinators who have planned this entire day. So at this time, I'd like to everyone passing out. These guys deserve a round of applause, definitely. An awful lot of work. It is. Leave you with one bit of perspective, and then as we break up, please enjoy if there's any more cake left or mingle around a little bit. No more cake left, is that? Or you can't have any more. Okay. There might be some more, so enjoy a piece, mingle for a little bit. But right after we broke the 1.5 million barrier, I know some guys in the break room were talking about what that really meant. And one perspective to look at this that's kind of stuck with me is if anyone in here were to come up to me right now and say, all right, individually, 24 hours a day, for the rest of my life, I am not going to get hurt. Well, to meet what cumulatively we've done, you'd have to come back in 171 years and tell me that you hadn't hurt yourself one time. And that's pretty amazing that together we've put 171 years of somebody individually 24 hours a day and haven't had an injury. So again, you need to feel real good about that. You need to feel good. We've talked about in the past, there's really two groups here that have melted into one. And while we're here, we have not only retirees, but some of the employees that have been here for a long time that developed the culture, that have started some of these things, that have the work ethic. And over the past 2 years, we've had 36 new employees. And it took their commitment, it took their willingness to come in and to accept constructive advice and accept how we do things safely. And together is really why we're here today. So again, congratulations to everyone. It absolutely means nothing if somebody gets hurt from here on out. So we want to keep taking one day at a time, one shift at a time. And other than that, thank you for coming. Have a safe day. Buckle up. Thank you.